Hey, Angelo in New Jersey. I'm here to do a review on the Redford Lite Humidor. As you can see, this is the black bad oak finish. My buddies and I purchased four from Ben at the Elegant Bar. Great guy to work with, very helpful. So I'll just take you through delivery, through setup, and the end. But first of all, delivery. The unit weighs about 278 pounds crated, so make sure you have adequate manpower to get it to its final resting place. I had to come up numerous steps, used four guys, and still it was a heck of a workout. One thing to remember as well is when I unpacked it, there was in the owner's manual saying it shouldn't be tipped more than 45 degrees. So when you get it, it doesn't say anything on the outside of the box not to do that. So fair warning, when you get it, if you don't uncrate it and you move it crated like I did, make sure you don't tip it more than 45 degrees, and that's what's recommended. So as you can see, we got it. 5 trays. Capacity says about 1,250 cigars, but I tend to smoke more of a 50 to 60 ring size. So that being the case, you're not going to get close to 1,250. I'd say comfortably you could probably do 2 rows of 80, 80, 80, 80 and throw a couple boxes on the bottom because the tray on the bottom is removable. So comfortably I could probably put about 600 in here without a problem. But so when you get the unit, I'll go over the control panel real quick. The top, it's you could set your humidity and your temperature. So here's your power button. So once you power it up, plug it in the wall, this is your power button on and off. When you go to the left side of the panel, the top button on the left controls your temperature and humidity. So temperature and humidity should always be fairly close together. I like to set mine at 68 degrees. So setting your temperature, you press that once, the temperature will blink, and then over here is your plus or minus. So I could go up, I could go down, whatever the case may be. If I want to go up a little bit, and like I said, hit it once for the temperature. If I want to go up to, 70.5 degrees, 71, it'll blink, and then when it's done blinking, it'll save it, or you could press it again, and it'll lock it in immediately. Same button, pressing it twice, will flash your humidity. Again, the plus or minus are these two buttons, so I could go up from 68 or down from 68 and set my humidity. It'll blink, and then it'll save it as well. Over here is the light that controls the LCD lights on the inside that line both sides of the humidor, and the button below this will convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Now over here you have 4 LED lights. First of all, let me go back a little. This bottom light, which I didn't describe yet, is a demist light, which if you get any condensation that builds up on the front of the cabinet, this will take care of it. The icon is a little windshield wiper type deal. So when you hit this, okay, you can see the blue light goes on, which means the demist is in activity. Okay, then there's a red light, which means the heating unit's on. For when your temperature falls below, in my case, 68, the red light will come on. Then the light below that is a yellow light, which when your humidifier is on, that will light up. And then the green light below it is when the temperature is too high, the green light will come on and it'll actually lower the temperature very quickly. So when you get it, like I said, the bottom rack pulls right out, and the reservoir for your distilled water, and make sure you use distilled water only, sits right in the back. There's a little spout in the front of it where you could pour your distilled water in, and it'll take about a half gallon of distilled water. What I did was, if you pull this forward, you could actually get a small measuring cup and pour it right in, which is a lot quicker than using a squirt bottle that's supplied. You could put your finger in the top and feel the water level. Once it's close to the top, you don't want to overflow it, but once it gets close to the top, you could feel it with your finger, and it'll probably be about a half gallon of distilled water. So just make sure you keep the distilled water in there and you'll be set. Now there's also, right up in here on the left side of the unit, about 80% up, there's a sensor board that runs the humidity, and it's covered with what looks like an electrical outlet wall plate. Now, we had a problem with one of them where one of my fellows dumped it over 45 degrees for 2 days. Whether it had an effect on it or not, I don't know, but it wasn't calibrated. When he turned it on, it was set on 56 for the humidity, and it wouldn't change. So what we had to do, if you have to calibrate it, you could put a third-party hygrometer in the case, look at the reading of it, and in the case that we had, he was reading about 69, 70 degrees, but he was stuck at 56 up here. So what you do, there's only one screw that you take off the cover plate, and there's one screw that takes out the sensor board. And then you'll see a little blue box in the upper right-hand corner with a small screw. And if you take a small screwdriver, in his case it was reading way low. To increase it, you would do it clockwise. He did it about, we did about 4 or 5 times, 4, 3, 6 revolutions at a click. And he finally got it up to where the meter on the outside was reading his independent hygrometer on the inside, so then you know it was calibrated. So it's no big deal. It's very easy to do. When you read the manual, it seems very confusing. But like I said, just take off the wall cover, take out the sensor board, and adjust the screw clockwise to raise it, and counterclockwise if you're reading too high. And other than that, like I said, it's a great humidor. The shelves come out, and like I said, the bottom shelf is removable. So, and you can see right now, since the door was open, the yellow light came on, which means the humidifier is now on, and the red light came on, which means it's heating it up. Because I dropped down to about 67 degrees, so the red light comes on, it'll bring it back up to my desired level of 68 degrees. And you can see the humidity with the door open dropped to 57. That's why the yellow light went on, and it'll bring that up and shut off when it hits my 68 again. So all in all, we're very pleased with the unit, and like I said, if you have any questions, give Ben a call. Thanks.